Ladies and gentlemen, in a world that glorifies speed, fast food, quick money, instant fame, I came to remind you of something ancient, something powerful. Don't rush the process. Good things take time. You see, we often want the fruit before the root. We want results before refinement. We want the reward without the routine. But nature itself teaches us every tree must first go through a season where nothing is seen, but everything is growing. Growth is sequential, not instant. This is one of life's most powerful and often overlooked truths. In our modern society, where everything seems to happen in an instant, from microwave meals to instant downloads, it's easy to assume that personal growth, success, and fulfillment should come just as quickly. But the reality is far different. True growth, the kind that lasts and transforms, is always a process. It follows a sequence, a divine order. You can't skip steps and expect the structure to stand strong. You can't shortcut maturity, wisdom, or mastery. These things are earned over time through process and with patience. Imagine a child learning how to walk. The process begins with crawling, standing, wobbling, and falling over and over before finally taking that first step. But what would happen if that child tried to skip crawling and go straight to running? The result would be frustration, falls, and possibly injury. The sequence matters. It builds strength, coordination, confidence, and understanding. The same is true for you. Every stage of your journey, whether it's learning a new skill, building a business, healing from loss, or becoming a better version of yourself, has value. You are not wasting time by going slow. You are building the foundation necessary to sustain the success you desire. One of the most common mistakes people make is comparing their early steps with someone else's finished product. You see someone who's already at chapter 20 of their story, and you get discouraged because you're still at chapter 2. But what you don't see are the years of effort, setbacks, self-doubt, and perseverance that brought them there. Growth doesn't come in highlight reels. It comes in the quiet, unseen hours of practice, prayer, study, and discipline. It comes in the moments where you're tempted to give up, but choose to stay committed instead. It's not flashy, it's not glamorous, but it is effective. Think of a bamboo tree. After the seed is planted, it takes up to 5 years of watering and nurturing before anything breaks the surface. For years, there's no visible sign of growth. To the outside observer, it looks like nothing is happening. But underground, that bamboo is growing an extensive root system that will support its rapid growth when the time is right. And when it finally breaks the surface, it can grow up to 90 feet in just 6 weeks. That's not luck. That's process. That's preparation. That's growth in sequence. You must understand that anything worthwhile takes time to develop. Relationships, careers, dreams, spiritual maturity. They all demand a season of planting, watering, waiting, and refining. If you try to rush that process, you risk ending up with a weak foundation. You may experience short-term success, but it won't last. Why? Because the internal structure hasn't been formed to support it. That's why so many people burn out, give up, or self-destruct. They never honored the process. They wanted results before readiness. So the next time you're tempted to rush, to quit, or to question your pace, remind yourself, growth is sequential. Trust the step you're on. Honor the stage you're in. Don't let impatience rob you of the wisdom this moment holds. You are not behind, you are becoming. And just like nature doesn't bloom before its time, neither will your purpose. Stay the course. Let the process work in you, because what you're becoming through this journey is far more important than how fast you get there. Preparation precedes promotion. This truth applies not only to careers and leadership, but to every area of life. You cannot be elevated to the next level until you're equipped to handle the weight, the responsibility, and the challenges that come with it. Too often, people desire promotion without the preparation. They want the platform without the practice. They want the spotlight without developing the strength to stand under it. But promotion without preparation is dangerous. It may look like a blessing at first, but without the necessary growth, it can become a burden too heavy to carry. There's a reason why life seems to take you through certain seasons that feel slow, challenging, or even hidden. These are the preparation seasons. These are the times when it feels like nothing is happening on the surface, but everything is happening within. It's in those moments that your character is being shaped, your discipline is being tested, your endurance is being built. These are the very qualities that will sustain you when you get to the level you dream of. Because getting there is one thing, but staying there requires more. Think of a student preparing for an important exam. The result that student wants is a good grade. But that grade isn't just handed to them, it's earned through hours of study, note-taking, revision, and comprehension. The test is not the beginning, it's the outcome. Likewise, in life, the opportunity you're waiting for is not the starting point, it's the fruit of all the unseen preparation you've done. If you skip that preparation, you fail the test. Not because you're not smart, not because you're not talented, but because you didn't invest in the process. Sometimes the reason your breakthrough hasn't arrived is because you're still in training. The opportunity is ready, but are you? The door may be open, but can you walk through it with confidence, wisdom, and grace? That's why the preparation season should not be resented. It should be respected. It's the difference between a foundation built on sand and one built on rock. The stronger the preparation, the stronger the foundation. And when storms come, and they always do, it is your preparation that keeps you standing. Even in ancient wisdom, this principle is echoed. In every great story, whether it's spiritual, historical, or modern, the hero goes through a season of obscurity before stepping into greatness. Moses spent years in the wilderness before leading people. David tended sheep before becoming king. Even in business, the most successful people often spent years learning, failing, and refining their skills before anyone knew their name. What does this tell us? That preparation is not a waste of time. It is the most valuable investment you can make in yourself. You may be working a job right now that feels beneath your potential. You may be in a place where your gifts aren't being recognized. You may feel like you're ready for more, but if more hasn't come, maybe it's because there's still more in you that needs to be developed. Use this time. Study, improve your craft, build your habits, strengthen your mindset. Because when promotion comes, and it will only elevate what you've already become. Don't chase promotion, chase preparation. Promotion will come as a natural result. The world respects those who are ready. Life rewards the diligent. And God promotes those who have allowed the hidden seasons to make them into something strong, humble, and ready. So today, shift your focus. Don't ask, when will I be promoted? Ask, how can I better prepare? Because the more prepared you are, the more you can handle. And the more you can handle, the higher you can go. The root must grow before the fruit can show. This simple truth, drawn from nature, provides one of the clearest lessons about life, leadership, and legacy. A tree does not appear overnight laden with apples or peaches. Instead, it spends seasons developing a subterranean network of roots that anchor it, nourish it, and prepare it to bear fruit when the time is right. In the same way, every success you envision in your own life depends on an unseen foundation: habits, character, knowledge, and experiences that must be cultivated long before outward results emerge. When a gardener plants a seed, they do not expect vegetables or flowers immediately. They water, they weed, they feed the soil. They wait while the seed sends out microscopic hairs to draw nutrients and moisture from the earth. Those hairs form into roots, and roots expand in search of minerals and stability. This unseen process can take weeks or months, yet it determines whether the plant will stand tall and yield produce when the sun and rain align. If the gardener were to dig up the young seedling too soon, searching for fruit, they would destroy the fragile beginnings and ensure nothing ever grows. Life demands the same patience and care. If you rush to measure progress by external markers, titles, paychecks, recognition, you may inadvertently uproot the very growth that would sustain long-term achievement. In personal development, this principle applies to building skills and knowledge. A musician will not perform a concert on stage before hundreds of hours learning scales, rhythm, and ear training. A writer will not publish a bestseller without first studying grammar, storytelling techniques, and receiving feedback on countless drafts. A leader will not guide a team through crisis without first cultivating emotional intelligence, conflict resolution skills, and a reputation for integrity. In each case, the root work, practice, study, self-reflection happens quietly, often alone, behind the scenes. It may feel thankless, tedious, or invisible, but it is what makes greatness possible. Character development follows the same pattern. Trust is the fruit of consistency, integrity, and humility. Before others will entrust you with responsibility, they look for evidence that your inner foundation is solid. Do you keep your word when no one is watching? Do you admit mistakes and learn from them? Do you treat people with respect, even when it costs you convenience? These root-level activities don't produce immediate accolades, but they nourish your reputation and open doors in the long run. Without roots of character, any success you achieve is precarious. Without roots of skill and wisdom, it will wither under pressure or temptation. Businesses and organizations illustrate this lesson on a larger scale. A company that focuses solely on rapid expansion, ignoring culture, training, and processes, often finds itself scrambling to correct mistakes, replace burned-out employees, and manage crises. Conversely, businesses that invest in employee development, ethical practices, and customer relationships create a foundation strong enough to support growth during booms and sustain them through downturns. Like a well-rooted tree, these organizations can weather storms, adapt to change, and consistently produce quality products or services that earn loyalty and referrals over time. Recognizing the importance of roots also changes how you perceive failure and delay. When you encounter setbacks, instead of seeing them as proof you're on the wrong path, view them as signals that your roots are still forming. Perhaps you need more knowledge, more mentors, more practice, or more time to integrate lessons. Each challenge offers nutrients, resilience, creativity, and strategic thinking. The deeper your roots grow in these trials, the more substantial your future fruit will be. Patience is not passive waiting. It's active investment in preparation. So embrace the invisible work. Honor the late-night study sessions, the difficult conversations, the humble beginnings, and the painstaking mistakes that sharpen your abilities. Know that every moment you spend strengthening your roots, whether through learning, character building, or relationship building, is an investment in a harvest that will come in due season. When the fruit finally appears, you'll stand confidently under its weight because you've done the essential work that supports it. And that harvest will taste all the sweeter because it grew from roots you nurtured with intentionality, care, and time. Good things take time, and no fruit is sweeter than the fruit of a well-rooted life. You can't skip steps and expect to end up in the right place. Every step in the process of growth is there for a reason. It teaches you something vital, something you'll need later. When you try to jump ahead, you miss the lessons, the strength, and the maturity that the current step is designed to give you. Life has a rhythm, a divine order, and when you honor that order, you arrive stronger, wiser, and more prepared. But when you rush, when you try to shortcut the process, you often find yourself overwhelmed, underprepared, or even back at the beginning, having to relearn what you tried to skip. In every area of life, whether it's your career, relationships, health, or spiritual journey, progress is built step by step. You can't go from novice to expert without first being a student. You can't lead others until you first learn to lead yourself. Skipping steps may give the illusion of progress, but the truth always comes out in the pressure moments. You might gain the position, but without the process, you won't have the power to sustain it. What builds you is not just the destination, but the road that gets you there. Each step develops a piece of you: discipline, patience, resilience, understanding, humility. These aren't things you get instantly. They are earned through experience, through repetition, and through time. Think of a builder constructing a skyscraper. No matter how eager they are to see the building rise, they cannot ignore the foundation. If they rush to pour concrete without preparing the ground, the whole structure will be unstable. If they skip reinforcements or testing in order to save time, the building may look fine on the outside, but one storm, one unexpected shake, and it all comes crashing down. That's what happens when people skip steps in their own lives. Everything might look good for a while, but under pressure, the cracks appear. The missed steps catch up. In the early stages of anything worthwhile, there is usually repetition, trial and error, and what feels like slow progress. A musician practices scales. An athlete drills basic movements. An entrepreneur learns about accounting, marketing, customer service, all before seeing any profit. It may feel like you're not moving forward, but you're building something essential, your capacity. And the greater your capacity, the more success you'll be able to hold when it finally arrives. Skipping steps short circuits that growth. It may get you to the door, but it won't give you the keys to stay inside. Sometimes impatience stems from comparison. You see someone else further along in their journey and you feel behind, so you try to rush to catch up. But what you don't see is the steps they already took. The late nights, the failures, the sacrifices. You see the highlight, not the hustle. You must run your own race, not theirs. Their path won't work for you, and your path isn't meant for them. Trusting your process means accepting your unique timing, your unique lessons, and the order in which life is shaping you. When you stop trying to skip steps, you start to notice the value in each one. You realize that what felt like delay was actually design. That detour was actually development. That setback was a setup for strength. Everything is building something in you, and when the time comes, you won't just arrive, you'll arrive ready. You won't just succeed, you'll sustain it. Because you didn't just chase the goal, you honored the growth. You took the stairs when others looked for elevators. And in doing so, you became someone stronger, someone wiser, and someone worthy of the weight you're now equipped to carry. So don't rush, don't look for shortcuts, don't envy the fast track. Stay faithful in your step, because each one is preparing you for what's next. And when you finally arrive, you'll know you earned every inch of ground you stand on. Small, consistent efforts compound into great results. This is one of the most underestimated truths in life, yet it holds the power to transform everything, from your habits and relationships to your career and spiritual journey. You don't need to make massive leaps every day to get somewhere significant. In fact, those who focus solely on giant steps often burn out or become discouraged when results don't come fast enough. But those who commit to steady, intentional actions, even when progress feels slow or invisible, are the ones who eventually build something remarkable. The reason small efforts matter so much is because of consistency. When you repeat an action over and over, no matter how small, you begin to create momentum. That momentum builds habits. Habits build character, and character is what sustains success. You can't control everything, but you can control your effort today. And if you give your best today and do the same tomorrow and the day after that, you'll look back months or years later and be amazed at how far those tiny steps have taken you. Think of how water carves through rock. One drop does nothing. 10 drops might leave a trace. But over time, with persistence, even the hardest stone gives way to the gentle, repeated rhythm of falling water. That's the power of consistency. It doesn't look like much in the moment, but it rewrites landscapes over time. Your life works the same way, whether it's waking up a little earlier to work on your goals, choosing to eat healthy one meal at a time, showing up to the gym even when you don't feel like it, or reading a few pages every day to expand your mind. These actions might feel small now, but over time, they form a powerful pattern that leads to transformation. The danger is that because results aren't immediate, we're tempted to quit. We think if change doesn't come quickly, it must not be working. But that's not how growth works. Growth is often invisible at first. A seed spends weeks underground before it ever breaks the surface. A child learns sounds and babbles before they can form a single word. A business often operates in loss before turning a profit. Patience is the bridge between effort and results. You must believe in the power of compounding, because every time you show up, you are casting a vote for the person you want to become. Even in relationships, small, consistent efforts are what build trust, love, and respect. Saying I love you, listening with intention, offering support, keeping your word. These aren't grand gestures, but when done daily, they create a foundation that's unshakable. The same is true with your relationship with God. One prayer, one verse, one moment of quiet surrender every day may not feel world-changing in the moment, but over time, it grounds your spirit and strengthens your faith. People often underestimate what they can achieve in a year by showing up every day and overestimate what they can do in a week with intensity alone. Motivation might start the journey, but consistency finishes it. It's not about being perfect every day, it's about not quitting. Progress is better than perfection. Showing up matters more than dramatic results. Success rarely comes from doing one thing right once. It comes from doing the right things repeatedly. So wherever you are today, choose one thing and do it well. Then do it again tomorrow. Don't wait for the perfect time. Don't wait for the big breakthrough. Just plant the seed, water it daily, and trust that what you can't see is still growing. Every great achievement began with a single act of faithfulness. Don't discount the small things. They are the foundation of all greatness. Keep going. because your consistent efforts are leading you exactly where you're meant to be. Enduring challenges without giving up is one of the most powerful demonstrations of strength and character. In life, difficulties are not optional, they are inevitable. Everyone goes through moments of testing, moments where things don't go as planned, where disappointment sets in, and where progress feels painfully slow. But it's in these very moments that your true growth begins. It's not about how easy the road is. It's about how committed you are to stay on it, even when it gets tough. Because resilience isn't developed in comfort, it's forged in resistance. When you endure without quitting, you're sending a message to life, to your mind, and to your future that you are not easily moved, that you are not driven by convenience, but by purpose. And purpose will always require perseverance. If you quit every time something gets uncomfortable, you'll never see what you're truly capable of. Most people don't fail because they aren't talented or smart. They fail because they gave up too soon. They walked away right before the breakthrough, right before the lesson that would have changed everything, right before the door opened. It's easy to stay committed when everything is going your way, when results are visible, when people are cheering you on. But the real test of endurance is when none of that is happening, when your efforts seem unnoticed, when the results are delayed, and when it feels like no one understands the path you're walking. That's where champions are made. That's where faith is strengthened, where inner grit is developed, and where your mindset is trained to keep moving forward no matter what. Pain and struggle are not always signs that you're off course. Sometimes they are confirmation that you're growing. Growth hurts. Growth stretches you. It demands more of you than you thought you had. But every time you push through, you increase your capacity. You become a better thinker, a stronger problem solver, a more focused individual. Enduring teaches you patience, teaches you discipline, and reveals the parts of you that would have remained hidden if everything had stayed easy. Think of any person who has achieved something meaningful, an athlete, a leader, a creator, a parent. Behind every success story is a chapter of struggle, seasons where nothing made sense, moments when quitting seemed like the easier option, but they didn't stop. They stayed with it. They chose to believe that what they were building was worth it, even if no one else saw it yet. That's what you must do too. You must keep showing up, especially when you don't feel like it. You must trust that the process, no matter how hard, is preparing you for something greater. Every challenge you face has something valuable inside it. Sometimes it's a lesson, sometimes it's a skill, sometimes it's a deeper understanding of yourself. But you only get that value if you stick with it. If you quit too early, you miss the treasure. Think of pressure. When applied consistently, it shapes, refines, and even polishes. Diamonds are only formed under pressure. Without that process, they remain just carbon. You too are being shaped by the pressure, not to destroy you, but to reveal your strength. So when things get hard, and they will, don't let it shake you. Don't let it convince you to abandon the path. Let it drive you deeper into your purpose. Let it sharpen your focus. Endure the discomfort, because discomfort is the birthplace of transformation. When you choose not to give up, you are building a version of yourself who is stronger, wiser, and more capable than ever before. And when the time is right, you'll realize that everything you went through wasn't breaking you, it was building you. Stay the course. Your breakthrough is coming. Appreciating your journey requires a shift in mindset from obsessing over the destination to embracing every step along the way. In today's fast-paced world, it's easy to feel pressured to arrive quickly, to see results instantly, and to measure progress solely by external milestones. But the truth is, the journey holds just as much, if not more, value than the final achievement. The process shapes you, prepares you, teaches you, and matures you in ways that the destination alone never could. Learning to appreciate your journey is one of the most important perspectives you can develop. When you begin something, whether it's a career goal, a personal transformation, a spiritual path, or a relationship, you are not just aiming to reach the end. You are also becoming someone new along the way. That becoming is sacred. The small wins, the daily struggles, the internal growth, the lessons learned through failure, the resilience built through waiting, all of these are what make the destination meaningful. If success came instantly, it would never hold the same depth or weight. What makes it valuable is the journey you took to get there, the tears you cried, the doubts you overcame, the strength you discovered. Often, people are so fixated on the outcome that they miss the beauty unfolding right in front of them. They don't see how far they've come because they're only looking at how far they still have to go. But life is not just about reaching goals, it's about who you become in the process of pursuing them. If you're growing, learning, and becoming more disciplined, more patient, more compassionate, then that alone is success. Each step you take in the right direction is progress, even if the finish line still feels far away. Sometimes the journey is where the miracles happen. You meet people who shift your perspective. You encounter challenges that deepen your faith. You learn to trust God in ways you never had to before. You find strength in moments of weakness. These are the experiences that transform you. The goal may get the glory, but the journey is where the gold lies. You'll never fully appreciate the mountaintop until you remember what it felt like in the valley. And when you look back, you'll realize it wasn't just about reaching the top, it was about the person you became climbing up. When you appreciate your journey, you develop gratitude. And gratitude shifts your spirit. It takes your focus off of what you lack and places it on what you've gained, what you've overcome, and how you've grown. This mindset fuels endurance, reduces anxiety, and helps you find peace in the process. You stop comparing your timeline to others because you realize your path is uniquely yours. You're not late, you're not behind, you're right where you're supposed to be, learning, evolving, preparing. There's power in reflection. Take time to look back and see how far you've already come. You've made it through things you once thought would break you. You've learned lessons that can't be taught in books. You've shown up on days when you felt like quitting. That's not small, that's significant. Don't diminish your progress because it doesn't look flashy. Real growth is often quiet. It happens in your mindset, in your habits, in your spirit. Appreciating your journey also means trusting that there's purpose even in the detours. Maybe the door didn't open because you needed more preparation. Maybe the relationship ended to make space for your healing. Maybe the delay was divine protection. Everything you're going through has a reason, even if you can't see it yet. Trust the process. Celebrate the little victories. Rest in the fact that growth takes time. And becoming who you're meant to be is not an overnight event. It's a journey worth honoring every single day. In a world obsessed with instant gratification, cultivating patience has become one of the most underrated yet powerful skills a person can possess. Everything around us moves fast. Technology, communication, trends, and even expectations. We're conditioned to expect immediate results, quick answers, fast deliveries, instant rewards. But real success, meaningful change, and deep transformation don't happen on a microwave schedule. They unfold over time, often slowly and quietly. That's where patience becomes essential. It's not just about waiting, it's about how you wait. It's the attitude you hold, the discipline you maintain, and the faith you preserve while things are still unfolding. Patience teaches you to value the process. When you're in a hurry, you often overlook important details, rush through vital lessons, or make hasty decisions that you later regret. Patience, on the other hand, slows you down long enough to think, to reflect, to prepare properly. It helps you see beyond the moment and focus on the bigger picture. A seed doesn't become a tree overnight. You don't build a strong foundation in a single day. Everything meaningful takes time, and when you allow it the time it needs, you create something much more sustainable, something that can withstand storms and stand the test of time. When you cultivate patience, you develop emotional strength. You train yourself not to react impulsively to disappointment or setbacks. You become more steady, more grounded. That steadiness allows you to stay focused on your long-term vision, even when short-term circumstances don't look promising. Without patience, every delay feels like a defeat. Every challenge feels like a sign to quit. But with patience, you learn to see delays as part of the journey. You understand that not everything has to happen right now to be happening at all. Patience also helps you manage your expectations. It shifts your mindset from "I need this now" to "it will happen when the time is right." That's not complacency, it's wisdom. There's a difference between being passive and being patient. Passive is doing nothing and hoping for the best. Patient is doing everything you can, trusting the process and not letting urgency rob you of peace. When you're patient, you're not sitting still. You're preparing, you're growing, you're building the foundation for what's to come. You're saying, "I believe in this so much, I'm willing to wait for it." And let's not forget, sometimes patience is protection. Sometimes what you think you want right now is not what you need. Sometimes you're not ready for what you're asking for. And sometimes the delay is giving you time to become the person who can handle the blessing. If you receive something before you're ready, it can overwhelm you, distract you, or even harm you. But when it comes at the right time, when you've matured, when you've learned, when you've developed resilience, it becomes a blessing that adds value to your life. Patience is also a sign of trust. Trust in yourself, in the process, and in God's timing. It's an act of surrender, saying, "I may not see it yet, but I believe it's on the way." That belief carries you through dry seasons, through silence, through uncertainty. It keeps you showing up, doing the work, staying faithful, even when you don't have visible evidence that things are changing. Because often the most significant shifts happen underground, in the unseen. Just like a seed breaking open beneath the soil, growth is happening even when you can't yet see it. So don't despise the slow seasons. Don't let the world's pace rush your purpose. Patience is not weakness, it's wisdom. It's power, it's strength under control. The things that matter most, love, character, healing, mastery, vision, are all developed through time. And if you can be patient in the process, you'll receive a reward that's not just timely, but timeless. Keep showing up, keep believing, keep building. What you're working on is worth the wait. One of the most empowering realizations you can come to in life is that delays are not always denials. Just because something hasn't happened yet doesn't mean it won't. We often confuse timing with rejection, and in doing so, we allow frustration and disappointment to take root in our hearts. But when you understand that delays are sometimes necessary, even divine, you begin to shift your perspective. You stop asking, why not now? And start asking, what is this delay trying to teach me? The truth is, not everything you're asking for is denied. Sometimes it's simply being developed. There are seasons when the answer is not no, but not yet. You may not be ready for the thing you're praying for, and the thing you're praying for may not be ready for you. Life has a rhythm, a timing, a divine order, and rushing ahead of that order can lead to outcomes that are premature and unsustainable. The delay is giving you space to grow, to become stronger, wiser, more resilient. It's giving you time to prepare mentally, emotionally, spiritually for what's coming. Sometimes the delay is protection. We may think we're ready for a relationship, a position, or a platform, but in reality, we haven't yet developed the character or discipline to sustain it. Receiving something too soon can be dangerous. It can expose you to pressures you're not prepared to handle. It can lead to poor decisions, burnout, or a loss of what you worked so hard to gain. But when you wait, when you allow time to shape you, you become the kind of person who can carry the weight of your future without collapsing under it. Delays can also refine your intentions. There are moments when we desire things out of ego, comparison, or insecurity. But as time passes, those surface motivations are stripped away and you're left with clarity. You begin to ask yourself, do I want this because it aligns with my purpose, or am I chasing it to prove something to others? That level of introspection is only possible when you've been slowed down long enough to evaluate your heart. And once your motives are pure, your vision becomes sharper and your steps become more intentional. It's easy to feel forgotten in the waiting, to look around and see others moving ahead while you're still stuck in what feels like the same place. But just because someone else's journey seems faster doesn't mean yours is failing. Comparison is a thief of peace. You're not behind, you're on your own unique timeline. Trust that what's meant for you won't miss you. And trust that the delay is a setup for something better than you imagined. One of the greatest benefits of recognizing that delays aren't denials is that it helps you stay faithful during the process. You keep showing up. You keep doing the work. You keep believing. Even when it feels like nothing is happening, that consistency, that endurance is what builds a foundation that lasts. You learn not to give up when the results are slow. You learn to keep watering your seeds, even when you don't see the sprout. Because faith is not just believing in the outcome, it's trusting the process. Delays are not roadblocks, they're checkpoints. They are moments to reassess, to adjust your course if necessary, to gain new perspective. They are opportunities for growth disguised as waiting. Don't misinterpret the pause as the end. You may not see it yet, but something is shifting behind the scenes. Doors are being prepared, people are being positioned, lessons are being completed, and when the timing is right, everything will fall into place with clarity and purpose. So don't lose heart in the delay. Don't abandon your vision just because it's taking longer than you expected. Stay faithful, stay grounded, trust that the delay is not a denial, it's a detour that leads to greater development, deeper wisdom, and better alignment. What you're waiting for is worth the process. And when it finally comes, you'll understand why it had to take the time it did. In a world that constantly pushes us to achieve more, faster, it's easy to equate speed with success. But lasting success is never built on haste. It's built on strong foundations. Just like a skyscraper cannot rise without deep groundwork, your dreams and goals cannot reach their highest potential unless the foundations are stable and solid. Taking time to build a strong foundation isn't glamorous. It's not the part people see or applaud. But it's the most important part of the journey because it determines whether what you build will stand or collapse. Foundations are all about preparation, developing your skills, shaping your character, and refining your vision. If you skip this phase or rush through it, you might build something impressive on the surface, but weak underneath. And when pressure comes, as it always does, what you built won't hold. Think about a tree before it ever bears fruit. It spends years developing its roots underground. You don't see the roots, but they are what allow the tree to grow tall and survive storm. Your foundation is your root system. Your habits, your mindset, your resilience, your discipline. One reason people fail to build a solid foundation is that they become impatient. They want quick results, so they cut corners. They focus on looking successful rather than becoming strong. But temporary success can become a trap. It feels good in the moment, but without a foundation, it can all come crashing down. Real success isn't just about achieving your goals. It's about being able to sustain them. That takes time, that takes structure, that takes patience. During the foundation building stage, you're learning things that you may not realize are valuable right away. You're being tested in small ways to prepare for bigger responsibilities. Maybe you're learning to manage your time better, or how to stay focused without external validation. Maybe you're gaining experience through failure, learning how to handle disappointment, and building emotional maturity. All of this is foundation, and every bit of it matters. When you're building from a place of purpose and integrity, you're investing in something that can grow tall and last long. Another powerful aspect of foundation building is that it helps clarify what you're really committed to. Anyone can start something, anyone can be passionate for a moment, but those who are willing to stay when the excitement fades, who stay committed when progress is slow, are the ones who end up with something meaningful. The foundation stage weeds out shallow intentions. It forces you to decide if you're doing something because it's trendy or because it's true to who you are. And when you're clear about your why, your how becomes stronger. Foundations also keep you grounded. When success finally arrives, people who skip this stage often get overwhelmed. They crumble under pressure or make impulsive choices that sabotage their progress. But when you've spent time building internally, you're better prepared for external rewards. You're not easily swayed by opinions, nor are you desperate for approval. You've already done the inner work. You've already been tested in silence. So when the spotlight comes, you don't get blinded by it. You stay centered. One of the most reassuring truths is that time spent on your foundation is never wasted. Even if it feels like you're behind, you're actually ahead, because you're doing the part most people avoid. You're putting in the quiet work. You're becoming the kind of person who doesn't just chase success, but is built to carry it. You're preparing for longevity, not just applause. And that makes all the difference. So don't despise this season of preparation. Don't let the pressure to produce quickly distract you from the power of building slowly and well. Every strong house starts with a deep foundation. Every strong life does too. Be patient. Be faithful. What you're building now beneath the surface will one day support something greater than you ever imagined. And when it does, you'll be grateful you took the time to lay it right. When you truly believe in your vision, in your purpose, and in the life you're working toward, you stop looking for shortcuts. You begin to understand that the value of your destination is deeply connected to the integrity of your journey. In a world that glorifies instant results, quick fame, fast money, overnight transformation, it's tempting to look for ways to bypass the hard parts. But the truth is, shortcuts often lead to setback. What you build without process, you will have to rebuild with pain. That's why if you believe in the vision, you have to trust the process that comes with it, no matter how long or slow it feels. Belief in your vision gives you the patience to endure the quiet seasons. There will be days when nothing looks like it's working, when the doors remain closed and the progress feels invisible. But when your belief is firm, you don't panic. You persist. You keep showing up, not because it's easy, but because you know what you're building matters. You're not just chasing a goal, you're fulfilling a calling. That belief becomes your fuel. It reminds you that even slow steps are steps forward. It helps you see waiting not as a waste, but as a space for development. When you believe in your vision, you stop comparing your timeline with others. You realize that your journey is customized, designed specifically for your growth, your preparation, your mission. You don't need to compete because what's meant for you cannot be taken by someone else. Comparison is a distraction, but belief is focus. It keeps your eyes on your own path. It allows you to move at your own pace with confidence. And when others don't understand your delay, when they question your choices, your belief anchors you. You no longer need validation because your conviction is strong enough. The process tests how much you really believe in what you say you want. It separates those who are just excited from those who are truly committed. It's easy to speak boldly about your goals when everything feels fresh and motivated. But real belief is revealed when you're in the middle of the journey, when things are uncertain, when there are more questions than answers. That's when belief becomes a decision, not a feeling, not a mood, but a choice to keep going anyway. Belief in your vision also helps you embrace the lessons along the way. Every delay, every rejection, every setback contains wisdom. Instead of becoming bitter, you become better. You start to see obstacles as opportunities to sharpen your skills, test your discipline, and refine your purpose. You begin to appreciate the process because you understand it's shaping you into someone who is not only ready for success, but also worthy of it. The process is building the version of you that can carry the weight of your future. And here's the beauty of trusting the process. When the breakthrough comes, and it will, it won't be by accident. You'll know it was earned. You'll know it was built on endurance, on faith, on discipline, on belief. That kind of success is sustainable. It has depth. It carries a story. And that story will not only inspire others, it will remind you of your own strength when future challenges come. So don't rush it. Don't resent the slow days. Don't doubt your path just because it's not happening quickly. If you truly believe in your vision, then honor the process that's necessary to reach it. Keep planting, keep preparing, keep believing, because in time, your process will become your platform, and your journey will become your testimony. One of the greatest sources of pressure in life is the feeling that you're behind, that you should be further along, more successful, more settled, more accomplished. We look at others who seem to be moving faster, achieving more, and we start questioning our own path. But the truth is, there is no universal timeline for success. There is no clock that determines whether you are ahead or behind, only your own growth, your own purpose, and your own readiness. Trusting your own timing means letting go of external standards and choosing to honor the unique pace of your journey. When you trust your timing, you give yourself permission to develop without the anxiety of comparison. You stop rushing to meet arbitrary milestones. You realize that growth is not linear and transformation is not something you can always schedule. Some seasons are meant for building, others are meant for waiting, and some are meant for resting and reflecting. All of them are valuable. All of them are necessary. Just because you haven't arrived at a certain destination by a certain age doesn't mean you're late. It means your path has a different rhythm, and that rhythm is right for you. You begin to understand that time is not your enemy, it's your partner. Time allows your experiences to mature you. It gives you space to discover what really matters. It gives you opportunities to fail, to learn, to adjust. Rushing only leads to frustration and superficial results. But when you trust your timing, you become more present. You give your full energy to the season you're in, and that kind of presence creates power. You're no longer just trying to get somewhere. You're growing where you are. And that growth prepares you for what's next. There's a kind of peace that comes when you stop trying to force outcomes before you're ready. Sometimes things don't happen yet because you're still being shaped into the person who can handle them. Life doesn't just give you what you want, it gives you what you're ready to sustain. So instead of chasing a moment, focus on becoming. Instead of asking, why hasn't it happened yet? Ask, what can I learn right now? This mindset keeps you grounded. It helps you use your time wisely instead of wasting it in worry. When you trust your timing, you also stop living in fear of missing out. You understand that what is truly meant for you will not pass you by. You don't need to manipulate or rush or chase. You need only to stay faithful. Keep doing the work. Keep becoming better. Keep aligning your habits with your values, because the moment that is for you will come, and when it does, it will feel right, not rushed, not forced, but perfectly timed. You may not see the progress daily, but every step is building something. Just because the results aren't visible yet doesn't mean the work is in vain. Some of the most significant shifts happen underground, where character is built, strength is developed, and perspective is refined. You're not behind, you're being prepared. And that preparation is what will allow you to not only reach your goals, but remain strong once you get there. So stop watching the clock. Stop measuring your worth by someone else's timeline. Your journey is not theirs and your timing is not theirs. Stay focused, stay faithful. Your time is coming, and when it does, it will be more fulfilling because you waited with grace, you grew with patience, and you trusted the process. That kind of timing can't be rushed, because it's not just about arriving, it's about becoming everything you were created to be.